Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of December 19th, 2023 to order at 7 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we're meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. So as 2023 comes to an end, I want to extend a Merry Christmas and a healthy and prosperous New Year to council, staff, and our residents. Our year was capped off with a successful entry in the Eagleville Santa Claus Parade that received the award for the best themed float. Thank you to the Recreation Committee, staff, and volunteers who participated in the float preparation and the parade. I want to thank all of our staff for their time and effort in 2023, initiating, implementing, and completing the projects that were planned in our 2023 budget. It must be mentioned that it was a challenging year for our public works staff to manage and accomplish their work while being short-staffed for a number of months. I am pleased that all of the vacancies are now filled. Enclosed, my mayor's address is a 2023 highlight summary of endeavors that has been completed in 2023 or is still in progress. Staff is progressively working on the draft 2024 budget, which will be presented to council early in the new year. And I'm not going to list them all, but the highlights are listed there for your review. And also attached is the AMO Strengthening Public Health webinar that was presented last week. And just to touch on it so council's aware, this webinar is about the province moving towards, they're calling it at this point, voluntary health unit mergers. However, they have said in some of their publications that if the health units don't participate to the level that they would like to see, then they might be told where they're going to be merged. Some of the criteria that they're using is that they have a number of 500,000 people that they want to use as the benchmark for the minimum number of population served. They have said in this meeting that we had that it's not a hard and fast number, but they are certainly hoping that health units can get close to that or provide a good business case for maybe another option that includes less numbers. Again, the Renfrew County District Health Unit is facing a 11.3% increase in the health unit budget for this year, and that's after 4 vacant positions that currently exist, they've decided not to fill. So some of the programs like the vaccine, the health unit, some of the pop-up clinics that they have, they'll be cutting way back on those. You'll have to go to the health unit or you'll have to arrange through your pharmacy for vaccinations. The other program that they're going to be cutting back on is the stop smoking and the patrolling of some of the areas where people are not following the non-smoking bylaws, regulations. And it's unfortunate because of the increase in the number of youth that are going to vaping, which can be just as addictive as smoking. So there's certainly some challenges there. And they made a big deal of their announcement in the summer at the AMO conference that they were reinstating the funding model where the province pays 75% and the municipalities pay 25%. But what they didn't mention at that time was they're basing that on 2018 figures. So it doesn't take into account any contract negotiations that result in higher labor costs. Doesn't take into account inflation. So in actual fact, for the mandatory programs, they are now only paying 74% and the municipalities are picking up 26%. So to get to the $500,000 population number, it would mean we would have to merge with 3, possibly 4 of the Eastern Ontario health units to get us at or near that number, which again creates a huge geographic area. The government's position is that while with that many more people and the merged units, you can provide the same programming that larger cities are able to provide. But yeah, you're right. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, larger cities are much more concentrated in their population, so makes it a little easier to deliver some of those programs.
Yeah, because delivering a program in Pembroke isn't gonna help the people in Cornwall or Huntsville or Muskoka or wherever we would have to partner with to be able to make it available to them.
And the carrot they're dangling is that, well, if you agree to the mergers, then there'll be funding to cover the merger costs and the ongoing business costs while you're going through that merger period, which is a 3-year program they're hoping to have everything in place for. Yes.
So, we don't have to geographically merge, right? Like, we couldn't merge with Ottawa, we don't have to be linked, like, in Renfrew County, we have all the municipalities and they're all linked together, we could very well be linked with Muskoka, even though we're not touching on their borders.
That's correct, yeah.
But could we link with Ottawa?
No,
Why not?
because Ottawa has already 1 million people
So,
population, and the other health units have to be willing and
able to take.
able to participate in the merger. Willingness is really the big one. And Ottawa has said, no, we don't want to merge with anybody. We have enough population already.
Perhaps they should think about education and merge all the school boards together. That could save money.
Well, the warden's comment was, well, if they want to reduce the number of health units, maybe we can get away with reducing the number of areas for our MPP representation. But I don't think they'll go with that.
Or the number of ministries. Right, because the province does the same thing, they amalgamate ministries, it lasts for 2 or 3 years. And then there's a big announcement, oh yeah, we're gonna separate this. Like, in the 30+ years that I've been in corrections, we've had, I believe, 6 different ministry names. And at least 3 different times where we've either merged or separated in that period of time. And that's one small segment of the government.
So the health unit has agreed to hire a consultant to look at some of the various options. That is also covered with the funding that the province is providing. And I mean, then it'll be up to the other health units what direction they want to move forward in. But they made it very clear right from the beginning, this is not a move to save money. They believe it's going to be more equitable to deliver services and programs throughout the province.
It makes sense in the city, the large metropolitan areas. But when you have a geographic spread like we do, it's basically you're just cutting everyone out. Because, you know, transportation being an issue, individuals are not going to be serviced.
Maybe we don't need health units, maybe we need the Ministry of Health to take everything over. And then have satellite offices of that. You've got to service the same number of people over the same geographic area. Whether it's done by one overarching ministry umbrella, which we all know how well that works. Or multiple small organizations like we have now. But again, even if you were looking at an amalgamation of health units, and again, if you went with the ones that weren't geographically connected, but they had similar services, there's no efficiency there. Because you can't share resources between them other than electronically. So there's no efficiency to be gained. There's no efficiency, again, even for us to say with Nipissing district, which would be our next one going up the highway. How big is Nipissing district? And
They are, North Bay, they are around,
all around the Rock Park.
I think around 200,000 population.
Yeah, so even that, so now we have to either go farther south, because once you go farther up, now you're getting into unincorporated territories. So we've got no health unit up there to speak of, so you'd have to come down into southern Ontario.
And the province would much sooner see North Bay go with another northern community
Oh, absolutely.
than this area here.
Which means you're more or less forced down into the Cornwall border.
Maybe this is one that somebody can bring up to Doug Ford and get him to convince to walk this one back too, like he's walked several others back.
Yeah, I guess at the moment, there's a lot of reluctance from a lot of the other health units because they don't see how it's actually going to improve service. That's one of the big ones that's in front of the health units in the county right now as well, so there'll be more to come in the new year. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general, yes. I have a motion that the December 19th, 2023 mayor's address be accepted as presented. Moved by Councillor Cummins and seconded by Councillor Buckholz. Councillor Buckholz,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Ricky Schonfeld,
Yes,
and yes. Excuse me, very, thank you. Now, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, then we'll move on to the adoption of the minutes. I have a motion that the December 5th, 2023 regular council meeting minutes be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Ricky Schonfeld, seconded by Councillor Buckholz. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, Councillor Buckholz,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Ricky Schonfeld,
yes,
and a yes, it's carried, thank you. We have no delegations tonight, so we'll move on to reports. And the first one is the municipal business calendar. And I have a motion that council accepts the 2024 business calendar report as presented, and that all the event dates as directed and approved by council, and that staff create an Outlook council calendar. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Ricky Schonfeld. Comments, questions? Councillor Ricky Schonfeld.
when staff was inputting the dates, so remember in recreation, how we had that kind of issue because of the way the reconciliation date? So all of those things were looked at to make sure if there was a day off that it was.
We saw 2023 dates and compared them.
And make sure that, okay, that's great, thank you.
Councillor Buckholz.
And I see there's two dates in red here regarding holidays and the transfer sites. Is there a separate resolution for that, or are we dealing with that under this one?
It's whatever council is going to direct, open, close.
My suggestion is that they close the both of them. I don't see a lot of people bringing garbage on Canada Day. Or you might get some on the civic hall if people are heading back, but our staff are entitled to holidays just like everybody else.
There's also the one in December, Burn Road, race transfer site.
Yeah, Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I figured that wasn't over here.
Okay. Any other comments?
the only
I'm
one,
okay with that, I don't think it makes sense even from a, trying to manage the traffic flow on Canada Day in and out when
yeah.
there's, activities going on.
Mhm.
And they do have access on another day that week, right?
I'm sorry.
Not necessarily Charlotte, so.
Councillor Robinson, sorry, you have a
No,
comment?
it's okay. I'm fine with it.
So direction would be that they're closed on those 3 days. I'll call the vote. Councillor Buckles,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes,
Councillor Schoenfeld.
Yes,
Yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 7.2 is the fire agreement with Edmiston Brumley. And I have a motion, council accept this report as presented and passes a bylaw confirming this agreement. Moved by Councillor Buckholz, seconded by Councillor Robinson. I'll answer questions. Councillor Buckholz?
Just 2 items of cleaning up in them. Section 6, where it refers to bridges and restrictions on services. Actually scroll back near the top. No, actually in the agreement.
sorry.
So North Little Wilbur shall identify, section 6, all bridges, other township or other apparatus, should that be other jurisdiction? As in township bridges or county bridges?
You are correct, sir.
And then in section 7, subsection 1, third line, the North Little Wilberforce Fire Chief may delegate such authority as necessary to the fire chief. Should that be to someone other than the fire chief?
No.
You're pretty good at this. Yes, it should be, they're delegated to the incident commander. Or sorry,
Or even just,
a person that necessary.
I would just take it to the fire chief and just say that's necessary for purposes of the emergency plan.
That sounds better. Rather than trying to select an identifiable person.
just limit this one to.
Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Robinson.
just in the report details, what's an example of a low hazard incident?
That would be like a burn complaint. Or a hydro line. That's stuff we're trying to get them to stop responding to.
Mm.
And while we still respond to it. Because it's, basically amounts to $1,000 per call.
All right. Yeah, thank you. And in that one, in the report where it had road and then it had low and high. Fire, what does what does so Bulger Road is low 1 and high 1390, what do those numbers mean?
That's the actual physical 911 address
Okay,
from anything between number 1 and number 13.
is what you got, okay,
Exactly. That's how it's identified at the dispatch center.
right,
But we just use their criteria.
thank you.
So staff will make those changes. And I just added to the motion confirming the agreement as amended. Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes,
Councillor Schoenfeld.
Yes,
Yes, it's carried. Good. Item 7.3 is the Winter Union Public Library report, the CEO report for November and December. And I have a motion, council accepts the Boncher Union Public Library Board and CEO reports as information. Mover and seconder, moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Deschamps. Comments or questions? Yes, Councilor Robinson.
I just wanted to highlight the book launch, which was quite a big success. They made even more than they did last year, and they had 3 bands, which was quite exciting.
Yeah, and that's all staff driven to organize that
Volunteer,
yeah. and put that together,
Yeah, it
so.
was a lot of work,
Mhm.
because including preparing the foods and.
But they certainly do a great job and they seem to enjoy it as well.
Mhm.
See no other comments, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Ray Deschamps,
Yes,
and a yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 7.4 is the Business Improvement Grant Program. And I have a motion that council approves a total of $10,000 toward a grant matching program supporting local businesses in the 2024 budget. Moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments, questions? Councilor Deschamps.
so it would only be, for businesses that are really along Highway 60 and Golden Lake, no other businesses could apply.
Basically, this would just be to put the money in the budget to even start an investigative process for what the criteria would be. So it would be up to, however we decide, even like who's on the committee for deciding what the program is. Could be a committee of council, could be a group of business owners, could, like, different municipalities have done it different ways. But this would just be to allocate money in the budget for the program, and then we'd have to create a whole criteria.
So would it be possible for business that didn't have a shop on the main street to be able to access the money? If we were to, because you're saying like, we as a committee would decide where it goes, or would it have to be just along a certain corridor?
It would probably have to just be along a certain corridor, just with this grant program, but council could decide to create a grant for anything at any time. But for this program specifically, it does have to be on the main road.
Because I do kind of have a problem with that, where we're using $10,000 of monies from our budget that other businesses in our community contribute to, but they wouldn't be able to apply for it because they're just not in the right location. Okay, thanks.
I mean, if that is a concern, that is something that could be brought up, like, in the process for how the grant rules are made.
But right now, you're just basically saying though, that the process would only allow businesses along a corridor to apply for it.
To get this grant matching program.
Right.
Go ahead, Councilor Robinson.
so. You just said that is that the condition of the grant itself, or?
So, do you wanna just maybe pull up the report? Yeah, let's report on the example, it's a little bit complicated, so the county, the CFDC has a loan matching program.
Mhm.
So whatever the municipality is willing to put forward, like, so the city of Pembroke might put $1 million towards it, but, you know, we made this nice conservative $10,000 contribution that the CFDC would match up to $10,000 for the program. So one business applies for a $10,000 project, not that we would grant it just to one business, but the CFDC would match $10,000 for that business. So, the idea is that it helps businesses to scale up, like the CFDC offers loans, business loans, for small, medium, and large businesses. So if, like, any business has applied for a loan from the bank and have been able to get it, this is a guarantee. If they pass the township's criteria as a business, then it's a guaranteed match. So they get the loan and then they have an opportunity to apply for loans in the future to scale up their business.
Councilor Buckle.
So Cameron, if we went ahead with this and we did, as part of our plan, we did a community improvement plan identifying multiple main streets. If we targeted, made one area eligible this year for the program, is there anything to stop us from making another area in a subsequent year?
No, absolutely not. So most of the programs are for larger areas, so they would designate a downtown area, but in Whitewater Township, they actually argued that all of anything on a highway corridor was eligible, so that actually covered all of those areas of the community as well. So it's pretty flexible.
Because I'm thinking, as Councilor Shameful said, like, we do have businesses on the main highways, but we also have them even on roads that are just off of those highways, but still along that same traveled corridor. Like I'm looking at like Highway 60 and 41, not so much, but once you get up on the smaller roads, you have some businesses there that might benefit from this.
So the other thing is that the downtown revitalization grant, which we're not eligible for currently because we don't have the CIP and we haven't done this program yet, but we have done the BRE, business retention and expansion program. So once we do this program, then we'd be eligible for the downtown revitalization one, and that would be quite restrictive about where, because there's a density requirement, so there's really only like one or two areas that could be, but for this one, we could make it more flexible, we could make it more wholesome to incorporate that as well.
So my question is, you answered a number of them, same as Councilor Ricky Schoenfeld, I was concerned about just identifying one downtown business area and now eliminate some of the other businesses. Is this the county's criteria that you have to identify or design your business area?
Yeah, so it's, I believe, I put the exact wording on it, is a main, I think it's a main streets, it's just called main streets, and then community improvement project areas. So it doesn't say downtown in this program, but then the next level up of this program does specify downtown, and there's a density requirement.
So we would have to design a program and then the county would review it and approve it, is that the way it works, or?
They would just accept it. The
Okay.
CFTC would accept the plan as presented, unless it was outlandish, but considering what they've accepted for Whitewater, I mean, it's pretty flexible what we would determine important community improvement project areas. So
So could it be though, like other roads, or would it just be the Golden Lake Road?
most plans have a map and then they'll have colored areas.
Yeah.
And they'll have priority areas identified that way.
So we could have priority areas, not necessarily just the Highway 64. So if we look at our township, we could have several pockets.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because we do have multiple communities within the entire township. Yeah, I think that's doable.
Because I'd be okay with that. I'm just not okay if it's restricted to one area. So you're saying would be good, we could have several areas
For this one.
for this one?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's Council Buckle.
So I'm assuming tonight we're just looking for a go ahead and that would be incorporated in budget planning for 2024.
It's possible that even we put together a committee and we decide that we're not going to launch this year, but just to put it in the budget in case we're ready to launch it this year, but the community improvement plan has to be done first, which is a huge undertaking, so.
And just, you were talking about Whitewater, so they would, I'm assuming anyways, they would include Cobbs and Beachburg and Westmead as part of it.
Yeah, they included all of their villages. So this is just a snapshot. It's the brochure that they put out. So villages and hamlets, and it's a really great example, actually. So heritage property improvement, parking and landscaping improvement, sign improvement, planning, and building facade and property improvements. So it just kind of goes through the process. So for theirs, accessibility improvement grant, for example, 50% of costs of improvements and enhancements, maximum of $2,500. Commercial mixed use and institutional buildings within villages and hamlets, projects could include, etc. So we could have an accessibility component to it, we could have a historic or heritage component to it, it's quite flexible, but the idea is essentially just that we block off this funding in case we, like, definitely, we should proceed with the community improvement plan, but that we block off the funding in case we're ready for this grant stage, but, you know, there's no timeline on when exactly that's launched, like it'll be launched when it's ready.
Like what they've done as well for each one of those categories, they put a maximum amount that they'd be, willing to contribute, so. As you say, it doesn't mean, excuse me, that one business can, put in an application for the full 10,000. Any other questions, comments? Councilor Buckle.
Just one, is this something that the advisory committee would be able to help with developing with this, or did you have something else in mind?
Potentially, yeah, if they're interested in.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Councilor Buckle,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Rector.
Yes,
I'm also a yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 7.5 is the insurance renewal, and I have a motion the council approves the municipal insurance proposal from MIS Municipal Insurance Services in partnership with March Canada Inc. for 2024 in the amount of $145,607 plus applicable tax. Moved by Councilor Buckle, seconded by Councilor Robinson. And there was an increase. Maybe I'll just ask staff to speak to it, or did you want to bring up the report?
Okay, so our broker continues to work to keep premium increases as low as possible, but for this year, there is a 10% increase over last year's premium. But this is below the typical increases that their brokerage has seen. The range we're seeing was between 11 and 16%. So the 10% translates into an increase of $13,804 over last year. And the main reason for this is that liability insurance rates continue to increase. They're increasing 5% this year. The excess liability premiums are also increasing 5% this year. That's due to market conditions. And also our property premium is up this year. And this is due to our increase in total insured value. We added snow drifters last year, and so this is the first year that it's so that's included in this year's insurance also.
Thank you. Comments or questions, Councilor Robinson?
and then we pass you to you. Yeah. We talked, I think, last year about cyber.
We did, so that's a little more complicated than just asking for a quote. You have to, fill out the applications. Also, there's also AMO, has a program in place, so what we staff can do this year is, review and investigate all those options and bring a report back to council.
We suggested a number of, they've been hitting the libraries a lot for, so it's just something that we should be aware of.
We can do that.
And I guess the other thing that's important when you're looking at cyber insurance is that we have a risk management plan on what we're currently doing, because I think the premiums are based on where you are as far as managing the risks.
So yes, it's not just a matter of asking for a quote, you need to have some
Yeah.
Yeah, parameters.
in place, yeah.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes,
Councillor Reddy Schoenfeld,
Yes,
and yes, very good. Item 7.6 is the fire department report, and I have a motion that council accept the apparatus replacement plan as information and considers the plan during budget deliberations. Moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments, questions? Councillor Reddy-Schoenfeld?
it was really nice to see like succession planning for all the vehicles we have. And I guess the best that we can always get is just a 3B residential rating, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and it was also interesting to see how that you used a truck that the Public Works had. And then it got used by the fire department. That's the 2011 Chevy 3/4 ton.
That's correct.
So that's the one, like, when I was first in council and we were budget deliberating, that it was gonna be put out of service because it was unsafe for Public Works. But you guys still managed it, it worked for a long time. I know it's, no, but in fact, but that's just what I mean. Things can't get another purpose. You don't have to totally, because we were told it was unsafe and it was gonna be, but I mean,
And actually, when we agreed to take it on, we were not told it was being done safe,
mhm,
so it was a bit of a shocker.
yeah. But I mean, you're expected placed in 2025, so it did have a longer life after it left.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that was positive.
So the picture of the rusted out floor on the driver's side, is that something that has to be addressed? Because I don't think it will pass safety.
No, it's definitely have to be addressed. I only found out about it last week, so.
It's just a little extra air conditioning.
For my feet, yes.
Fred Flintstone used it.
Wrong. Wrong side of the cab go for your foot.
Yes, exactly.
But that's something, again, the truck's getting to the age where it's gonna require more and more costly repairs. And you're thinking that we can get another year out of it yet?
Well, I believe so, yeah.
Okay,
Well, we fixed everything that we found wrong with it. So,
right.
like I said, just sort of amortize that over another couple of years and. But it's not gonna last for 20 years.
Well. Any other comments? Seeing none, Councillor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Reddy Schoenfeld,
Yes,
and yes, it's very, thank you. And staying with the fire department, I have a motion that council accept the fire department 2023 annual report as presented for information. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckwell. Comments, questions? Councillor Reddy Schoenfeld?
how many more like volunteers do you need in each station?
Ranking's full up,
Mhm.
but we probably need an extra, I think we're short 6 right now in the Golden Lake area. Golden Lake / Heaton, mostly Golden Lake. It used to be that was the center of the population that was responding to incidents. But now it's all to migrate out to Beacon. So. It's where the bulk of the people are.
I just want to say thank you very much for the detailed report, and I really do appreciate the work that you're doing to recapture some of those expenses from MTO involving some of the motor vehicle collisions. It's nice to add some of that money back into the budget.
Yes, it is. And it's been a challenge dealing with MTO sometimes, but. You know, work through it.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes,
Councillor Rector Johnson,
Yes,
and a yes, it's carried, thank you. Item 8.2 is the CEMC report, and I have a motion council accepts the CEMC update report as presented. Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments, questions? Again, I just want to thank staff for putting together the training and the exercise. Then you have to submit this now to the province.
Yeah, we're sort of getting in the year.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, Councillor Buckwaltz,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Rector Johnson,
yes,
and yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 8.3 is the bylaw enforcement report, and I have a motion that council accepts the bylaw enforcement report as presented. Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by Councillor Rector Johnson. Comments, questions? Councillor Rector Johnson?
does anyone know what the reporting period was, like from what month to what month? It wasn't for the whole year, right? No,
Just for,
was it just, so it was just the last quarter
since like September, the office. Yes.
Any other questions? Seeing none, Councillor Buckwaltz?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
yes,
Councillor Rector Johnson?
then? Yes,
Yes, it's carried, thank you. Yeah, 8.4 is the CBO report. And I have a motion that the committee, that council accepts the CBO update report as presented. Moved by Councillor Rector Johnson, seconded by Councillor Buckwaltz. Comments, questions? Should committee be council? Are you doing the change right away, Laura?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll call the vote. Councillor Buckle,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Rector Johnson.
yes,
I mean, yes, that's carried. And item 8.5 is a special project coordinator update. I have a motion that council accepts the special projects department update 2024. Sorry, that should be 2023.
Yeah.
As presented. Again, we were in a secondary, moved by Councillor Buckwaltz, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments or questions? Seeing none, Councillor Buckwaltz,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
yes,
Councillor Rector Johnson,
yes,
yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 8.6 is the treasurer's update report. And I have a motion to council accepts the treasurer's update report as information. Moved by Councillor Buckle, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Comments, questions? Councillor Rector Johnson?
just wondering why there was no shouldering maintenance, but I guess they never did that. And the other thing too is, and maybe it's just something to consider, I'm sure the Capitol at Burnt Bridge had to deal with the compactor. The 30,000, probably.
That's what we're putting for, yes.
So when Sue McCray made that presentation, she talked about the fact that when Tarek took over, that our transfer sites could change or whatever, so maybe just because budgeting, we have to be aware of the fact is we might not have a burnt road transfer site, or it might be a different site altogether. I'm just thinking, you know, if we're gonna put in $60,000 for a compactor, then we're not be using.
And the public works is aware of the changes that will be coming, and, that will factor into what recommendations are made by staff.
Okay,
That's about it.
The compactors used for regular garbage, not for recycling, so unless we're gonna get rid of the site completely.
but it's just something to factor in, you just don't know what's gonna happen. And the other thing too is, so I know we donate money to the museum in Eganville. Like, have they not requested the money? Cause it's not out of the budget yet.
Not at this time, so those are items that will be done at year end.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? And just, this doesn't take us right to year end,
No.
so there will be a more detailed report coming for budget
Beginning of
discussions.
the year, yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll call the vote. Council Buckles,
Yes.
Council Robinson,
Yes,
Council Becky Junko,
Yes,
and yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 9.1 are non-action items, and I have a motion that council accepts non-action correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.4 as information. Moved by Council Buckles, seconded by. Comments? Seeing none, Council Buckles,
Yes.
Council Robinson,
yes,
Council Reddy-Shumpo.
yes,
And yes, it's carried. Thank you. Item 9.2.1 is a resolution request from the city of Greater Sudbury. Whereas the Township of North Algona Wilberforce received correspondence from the city of Greater Sudbury, and that the council of the Township of North Algona Wilberforce supports the request from the city of Greater Sudbury that the province amend the Occupational Health and Safety Act to clarify the definition of employer to exclude owners that have contracted with a constructor for a project. And be it further resolved that this motion be provided to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, the Honorable David Pinsey, Minister of Labor, Immigration, Training and Skills Development, the Honorable Paul Calandra, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and MPP John Yakubuski. Moved by Councilor Buckwell, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Comments? Seeing none, Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
yes,
Councilor Becky Schultz,
yes,
yes. It's carried. Okay. And that brings us to bylaws. Now therefore, the Council of North Algona Wilberforce enact the following bylaw 2023-54, being a bylaw to execute a fire protection agreement with the Township of Admiston Brummel. Moved by Councilor Buckhead, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Yes, Councilor Buckhead.
So those changes we made in the other document will be changed in this as well? Okay.
that was gonna be my question.
Okay, Councilor Buckwell,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes,
Councilor Reddy-Shumpo.
yes,
Yes, very, thank you. Are there any matters of urgency? Any notices of motion? We've done reports from committees. So upcoming meetings, January 8th, 2024 at 7 p.m. is the next recreation committee meeting. And our next regular council meeting will be January 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And that brings us to item number 15. So I have a motion that council go into closed session pursuant to section 239(2)(b)(d) of the Municipal Act regarding two personal matters about an identifiable individual and one labor relations and employment negotiations. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Buckles. Councillor Buckles,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Buckles.
Yes.
Yes. So we'll go into close at 7:50 p.m.